Vibe coding has taken over. Developers everywhere are turning to AI to generate code faster, and enterprises are asking how they can harness the same power. But here's the challenge. Vibe coding isn't always that vibey. AI tools rarely get it right on the first attempt, requiring multiple prompts and extensive troubleshooting before results are usable. Most AI tooling just isn't built for enterprise scale. MuleSoft Dev Agent changes that. Dev Agent is a purpose-built agentic experience for enterprise integration, combining the speed of AI-assisted development with the governance, security, and scale that enterprises demand, and it's available to every Anypoint platform customer. Let's see it in action. Here in Anypoint Code Builder, MuleSoft's next-generation AI IDE, I have the familiar experience of designing APIs and building implementations. But now, I also have Dev Agent. With Dev Agent, I have a natural language interface to manage the full application lifecycle, but it's much more than your traditional chatbot. Dev Agent has access to my file system. It can read my files, and if I allow it, it can edit them directly. It can also execute save commands in my terminal. Dev Agent is MCP enabled and comes out of the box with MuleSoft's own MCP server. This gives Dev Agent access to my MuleSoft footprint with the exact same permissions I already have as a user. Additional MCP servers can be added from the marketplace or configured manually, including those built by my own team, extending Dev Agent's capabilities seamlessly. Rules ensure that Dev Agent acts according to your enterprise standards. These rules can be applied globally or at the workspace level to enforce naming conventions, security requirements, and architectural guidelines. Any requirement your organization may have. File context adds another layer of precision. Developers can supply requirement documents, mapping files, or even system logs, allowing Dev Agent to tailor its actions to the specific project environment. And with permissions, developers retain full control. Dev Agent can either propose changes or apply them directly, with all the edits clearly displayed for review. Dev Agent operates in two modes: plan mode, where it outlines its intended approach step by step, and act mode, where it executes the plan. Suppose I want to create an MCP server that opens issues in Jira. All I need to do is type my request, create an MCP server that integrates with Jira for issue creation. Dev Agent immediately gets to work. It automatically creates the projects and generates the business logic, dependencies, and configurations, everything required to run. As changes are applied, Dev Agent provides full transparency, displaying deletions on the left and insertions on the right. I can validate the output directly within the UI, ensuring every step aligns with my requirements. And with the See New Changes view, I can quickly navigate and review all of the updates in one place. Within minutes, developers can move from concept to a working integration without boilerplate coding, repetitive prompting, and most importantly, without losing control. That's the impact of MuleSoft Dev Agent. Contextual, governed, and enterprise ready. It empowers IT teams to deliver faster and with greater confidence. With Dev Agent, enterprises don't just code more quickly, they code with vibes that scale.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. I'm incredibly excited to be taking you through our newest announcement around MuleSoft Dev Agent. My name is Mofi Lualana, and I'm a director of product here at MuleSoft. In the studio today is Aston as well. He'll be supporting this conversation, but let's jump right into the content and what Dev Agent is all about. IT teams are overwhelmed, and teams are constantly being asked to do less with more. Developers everywhere are turning to AI to generate code faster, and enterprises are trying to understand how they can leverage and harness this power. But here's the challenge. Vibe coding isn't always that vibey. First, AI tools rarely get it right on the first attempt, requiring multiple prompts and extensive troubleshooting before the results are actually usable and work in the Mule ecosystem. They don't allow you to govern how applications are created and discovered. They don't ensure that your data is secure and kept private. They don't encourage reuse and instead just proliferate the amount of code and applications within your environments. And because they lack awareness of your IT estate, they cannot act with the right context. Again, when this happens, IT teams don't become more productive. We'd argue that it actually makes IT teams slower. And so most AI tools aren't built for enterprise scale. How are we solving for this? With MuleSoft Dev Agent. So what is Dev Agent? Well, Dev Agent is a purpose-built agent for enterprise integration. And it combines the AI-assisted development with all of the tools that you need to do this at scale. Dev Agent can do a number of different things. It can build your applications end-to-end, including your APIs, your flows, your connector configurations, and any dependencies, all while following the rules that you're setting within your organization. It can directly read and edit files, execute commands in terminal, and even search for your assets that you already have in Exchange. It can deploy and secure your applications, again, all through natural language. Dev Agent is here to accelerate your IT team across the entire software development lifecycle. And even more, it's going to be available to every Anypoint platform customer this Friday. Let's break it down a little further. First, Dev Agent is here to make sure that you're building the right architecture and ensure any applications that your team develops meets your standards. With Dev Agent, customers will be able to define blueprints or guardrails that dictate how applications are created for their organization. These can include requirements around how credentials are stored, or even error handling patterns. Dev Agent will also help customers optimize their existing assets, updating your applications to make sure that they meet your standards and your requirements. In short, Dev Agent brings a tried and tested expertise of Mule architects right into the development environment. Second, Dev Agent is here to support you in developing your applications. Over 2 years ago, we launched Einstein for Anypoint Code Builder and have since provided the ability to generate flows, data transformations, and API specifications within the IDE. Dev Agent unifies all of these capabilities into a single agentic interface and provides even more support for doing things like creating connector configurations, creating MCP servers, and automatically adding in any dependencies that you need for your applications. Dev Agent is also able to directly read and edit your files, which means that it has all of the context of any new or existing projects you want to create or modify. But we're not stopping there. Dev Agent is also MCP enabled, which allows developers to connect MCP servers they build, but also use the tools that we provide out of the box to interact with your Mule footprint. All of the tools developers need to build new applications or modify existing ones are now available natively in Dev Agent. But we know the work doesn't stop once you deploy or publish an asset. So we're bringing tools to help manage your IT estate in Dev Agent. With Dev Agent, admins are able to find or search for assets, understand reuse metrics, secure their APIs, and more. Again, Dev Agent understands all the applications and assets that you have in your MuleSoft organization, which provides you with a single interface to interact with your entire IT estate. And finally, making sure your IT network is healthy is crucial to the software development lifecycle. And so with Dev Agent, you'll be able to deploy and patch applications, get platform insights, and even troubleshoot runtime errors. No more combing through logs, instead receive actionable insights directly from Dev Agent. Ultimately, Dev Agent powers your IT team with vibes that scale. It starts with design, giving your team the expertise to design and optimize architecture with a purpose-built agent that knows best practices. Next is develop. From API specifications to integrations to MCP servers and more, Dev Agent is here to accelerate developing your applications. Then we have manage. Dev Agent provides a single natural language-driven interface to all the assets and applications in your ecosystem. And finally, operate. With Dev Agent, you're able to oversee and troubleshoot your deployments with actionable insights. In short, your entire IT team now has access to a purpose-built assistant for all stages of the software development lifecycle. So what will you be able to do with natural language prompts using Dev Agent? Well, quite frankly, you're going to be able to do a lot. You'll be able to generate new applications or modify existing ones. You'll be able to set custom metadata or even publish and create assets. You'll be able to create MCP servers, deploy applications, again, all from a simple natural language prompt. And I'll call out that more tools are coming soon to DevAgent, including the ability to generate unit tests, as well as supporting generating data transformations through conversations with DevAgent. But you may ask, and I think this is a very important question, why should I use DevAgent? Why not go directly to ChatGPT? Well, the reason lies in the underlying capabilities that power DevAgent. We know that AI can generate a lot of content, and I think everyone here can agree with that. But we also know that AI doesn't always generate the right response, and certainly not on the first try. So we built patented AI pipelines that have been optimized for the Mule ecosystem. What does that actually mean? What benefit does that bring to our customers? Well, quite simply, it brings true results. We evaluated our AI quality pipelines against other vendors using a dataset with hundreds of different use cases. And the numbers speak for themselves. Across the board, we generated more valid code, meaning code that actually worked, that actually ran within the Mule environment. But beyond that, we also generated more correct code, meaning code that included or met all of the user requirements. Combined, this translates to 30 to 40% better quality code when compared to other LLM vendors. Again, true results with DevAgent. DevAgent also complements MuleSoft Your Way, which we announced several months ago. As a recap, MuleSoft Your Way enables customers to extend MuleSoft to their preferred IDE or AI client. So, if your team is using Cursor or Windsurf or even GitHub Copilot, you can leverage our developer tooling in those environments. However, DevAgent supports teams who aren't in those IDEs. DevAgent is bundled in Anypoint Code Builder, and again is available with it to any Anypoint platform user, giving customers direct access to native agentic capabilities. We also announced MuleSoft Agent Fabric earlier this week, which will provide customers the ability to turn uncontrolled agents into a governed and highly coordinated intelligent network. Agent Fabric brings all of your agents into a single place so that they can be easily discovered. It enables you to execute complex processes that require multiple agents and tools with security and governance at the core. It also gives you a holistic view of all your different agent interactions, no matter where the agent was built or where it's hosted. One core element of Agent Fabric is orchestration, the ability to connect and coordinate agents across ecosystems so that they can work together to deliver the right outcome. I'm excited to announce that at GA later this week, DevAgent will be able to create, configure, publish, and deploy your agent networks, again, all from simple natural language prompts. This will make it easier than ever for our customers to get started in building agent networks to support their larger agent fabric. We talked a lot about innovation, but there are even more capabilities coming your way in Anypoint Code Builder, including support for parent POM, more actions in Canvas, and more. All of these features will be available for the October release, will be available this Friday in Anypoint Code Builder. If you're interested in learning more about DevAgent and our AI capabilities, we have a ton of resources for you. At the very top, we have an AI quality pipeline research, which goes into detail about how exactly we're generating better quality code and the evaluation that we use to benchmark our capabilities against others. We also have a MuleSoft DevAgent announcement, which goes into more detail about DevAgent and the capabilities that it has, as well as the awesome demo that you folks saw at the beginning of this presentation. We're also coming to Dreamforce very soon. At the Dreamforce keynote, we'll be talking through a number of the different innovation and capabilities that MuleSoft has released and is releasing over the next couple of months, including DevAgent. We also will have a specific breakout session that goes into detail about DevAgent, its capabilities, and how customers are thinking about and starting to use DevAgent to power their IT teams. And lastly, in case you missed it, we had an awesome community meetup yesterday in New York. It was recorded, so if any folks want to tune in to learn more about DevAgent and the capabilities that it has, feel free to catch the recording in that 5th QR code. And with that, thank you so much, and we will start questions.
Thank you so much, Mofi. And yeah, all of the links that have been being shared in the chat link as well directly to those QR codes that we just saw. So if you're interested in any of those assets, please click the links in the chat. The first question, I know this is one you've answered before, is can you bring your own LLM to DevAgent?
Yes, this is an important question. So you will not be able to bring your own LLM to DevAgent at GA. This is primarily because of the research that we showed earlier. There's a lot of things that we're doing behind the scenes as part of the MuleSoft AI quality pipelines to optimize the responses that you guys get. Because again, we want to make sure that whatever we generate actually works for you. And to do that, we have to control the models that are being used behind the scenes. And so for now, we haven't opened up access for customers to select their own LLM or choose or bring their own LLM to DevAgent. It will be closed and pre-selected within the experience.
Fabulous. Another question that I know you've answered before. Is it cloud-based or like how does that work?
Yes, so DevAgent will be available both in the desktop IDE and in the cloud IDE. So that means that if you download Visual Studio Code on your machine and install Anypoint Code Builder, awesome, you'll get access to DevAgent right then and there. Alternatively, if you go to anypoint.mulesoft.com and open the cloud IDE, you will also get access to DevAgent there. So DevAgent will be available in both channels so that customers can start getting their hands on it.
Fabulous. And another important question, is DevAgent trained on customer data?
Yes, this is an important question to address. And once more, DevAgent is not trained on customer data. We want to make sure that our customers' data isn't being used to power our training or improving the quality of generation. We actually work with our labeling teams to create internal data sources that we use to improve the quality of the responses coming from DevAgent. We do not use customer data for any of our AI capabilities in MuleSoft because we want to maintain the trust that we have with our customers.
And who has access to DevAgent?
So DevAgent is going to be available to any Anypoint platform customer. And this is deliberate because we wanted to make sure that DevAgent was available to everyone and customers could get their hands on it. DevAgent will require an Einstein-enabled Salesforce org. And if anyone has questions, feel free to follow up with your account teams. But DevAgent will not require Einstein requests or Flex credits. It will simply require connection to an Einstein-enabled Salesforce organization.
And I know you touched on it a little bit in the presentation, but would you explain how DevAgent works in the context of MuleSoft Your Way or the relation between those two things and other AI IDs like Cursor and Windsurf?
Yes, absolutely. So we've seen an incredible amount of buzz and hype around AI IDs like Cursor and Windsurf. And we recognize that customers wanted to develop their applications within those environments. That was the basis of MuleSoft Your Way, giving customers the choice about where they use our capabilities and the development environment that they chose. However, we also recognize that not every customer has access to Cursor or Windsurf. Not every customer wants to go the route of using a third-party IDE. And so what we did with DevAgent is bundle it natively in Anypoint Code Builder. Again, for customers who have Cursor or Windsurf or are using these different AI IDEs, awesome. MuleSoft Your Way is there for you, and you have access to all of our developer tooling. For customers who aren't using those environments, but still want to have the power of agents at their fingertips, MuleSoft DevAgent meets that need, and again, is natively available within Anypoint Code Builder.
Got another question in the chat, which is, can DevAgent not only develop Mule applications, but also be used to deploy and monitor the status of running applications?
Absolutely. So DevAgent, and we recognize that it may be a bit of a misnomer for folks, but DevAgent is more than just for development. DevAgent is truly for all elements of the software development lifecycle, starting with design. Not only are customers able to develop their applications, design their applications, make sure all of their applications meet their standards and their requirements, we're also able to do everything that happens after an application is deployed. We're able to deploy applications and patch them. You're able to monitor those applications and troubleshoot any runtime errors. You'll be able to search for assets, publish assets, all of the different actions that your IT team would typically take within the MuleSoft environment. Those actions we're exposing through natural language within DevAgent.
Is DevAgent free for MuleSoft customers?
Yes, so this goes back to a point I mentioned a bit earlier. So DevAgent will be available to any Anypoint Platform customer, and the sole prerequisite is an Einstein-enabled Salesforce org. DevAgent will not consume Einstein requests or Flex credits. It will be available to any Anypoint Platform customer as part of your subscription.
Fabulous. And does DevAgent have any long-term memory or context when you're prompting it?
Yes, so DevAgent operates on tasks. Tasks you can think of as a conversation or a chat. Any prompt or input that is added into a task or a chat is maintained for the duration of that task. Tasks have a limit of 200,000 tokens, so it's a good amount of context for folks who aren't super familiar with tokens, and all of that memory is maintained within that conversation or their task. When you start a new chat or a new task, that the context from any of your previous conversations is not shared. However, because DevAgent is able to read your workspace, read your project files, and potentially even read all files on your system if you allow it to, DevAgent has context of your current status of your projects and can use that context as part of any of the generations that it provides.
Fabulous. I'm not seeing any more questions. We can hold it for a minute. Feel free, if you're in the chat, please ask your questions. Otherwise, we can close this out.
Well, thank you so much.
Sorry,
thank you so much, folks, for all of the questions so far. Again, DevAgent is going to be available this Friday, October 3rd, to all customers. So look out for the official release once that goes out on Friday. We're incredibly excited about how this will change what it means to do software development on MuleSoft, and excited for folks to get these capabilities in their hands. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you so much.